Kagsamaya. It is good to be here again. Hallelujah. With Yahweh's grace, celebrating His feast. So today's message is Feast of Tabernacles and the meaning of Sukkot. So we know that 5 days after the Yom Kippur, it is the Feast of Tabernacles. In Leviticus 23, 34, already read on. Speak to the sons of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of the month, or the 7th month, which is Etanim or Tishri, shall be a feast of booths 7 days to Yahweh. So, what is the divinely set theme for the annual observance of this feast of tabernacles that most people in the world doesn't know, unfortunately? Deuteronomy 16:14 and 15, and you shall rejoice in your feast, you and your son and your daughter and your male slave and your slave girl and the Levite and the alien and the fatherless and the widow that are inside your gates. You shall keep a solemn feast 7 days to Yahweh your Elohim in the place Yahweh shall choose. For Yahweh your Elohim shall bless you in all your fruit produce in every work of your hands, and you shall be altogether joyful. But praise Yahweh, although we are not celebrating it in the place now in Jerusalem, but Yahweh commanded us now to celebrate it in the wilderness, and it's a great place to celebrate this Feast of Yahweh. And like I said, if only the people in the world know about this feast, now the world is, we have a wonderful world. But now only us celebrating the Feast of Yahweh, and Yahweh commanded us to celebrate with gladness and with joy. So the Feast of Tabernacles, picturing the 6th step in Yahweh's master plan, is a time of great rejoicing, and I am really rejoicing when I realize this Feast of Tabernacles, that the only feast Yahweh commanded us to rejoice. Can you imagine you are commanded to rejoice? So, for ancient Israel, it was a time of rejoicing because the abundant winter's food supply was taken in before the feast. But in the millennium, which is this feast pictures the happiness and joy and prosperity portrayed by the Feast of Tabernacles will exist worldwide under the righteous rule of Yeshua Messiah. And universal adherence to Yahweh's way of life will make the world tomorrow a literal utopia. So the Feast of Tabernacles was also called the Feast of Ingathering. That's why I always excited beginning 2019, and we pray that Yahweh will bless us coming here every year. And I'm always excited coming here for the celebration of Sukkot. So because it's celebrated this late summer, early autumn harvest. In Exodus 23:16, Feast of Ingathering, at the going out of the year, at your gathering your work from the field. So this is symbolic of the great regathering that will happen at Yeshua's return. So this is an early rain and latter rain in Israel, depicting the 2 yearly harvest. The early springtime harvest is much smaller harvest than the greater ingathering at the Feast of Sukkot of Tabernacles. But we now, as first fruits, represents early harvest. We are first fruits of Yahweh in Jacob 1:18. That is the will of Yeshua, that we are the first fruit of His creatures. So the one that started in the Passover sacrifice and the Feast of First Fruits already mentioned. Now at the Feast of Ingathering, at the return of Yeshua Messiah, will be a great ingathering of all His people to a greater harvest. So that's our job with Yeshua when He comes on the second time, and we will be ruling with Yeshua. Jeremiah 31. At that time, says Yahweh, I will be the Elohim of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. So it's clearly that this great end-time harvest, Yahweh will regather all the 12 tribes of Israel and not only Judah. And Ezekiel 36:9 to 28. For behold, I am for you, and I will turn to you, and you shall be tilled and sown, and I will multiply men on you, and all the house of Israel, all of it, and the city shall be inhabited, The waste shall be built. And we know now in Jerusalem, in Israel, it's destruction. And I will multiply men on you, and beasts, and they will increase and be fruitful. And I will make you dwell as your formerly were, and I will do better than at your beginnings. And you shall know that I am Yahweh. Yea, I will cause men to walk on you, my people Israel, and they shall possess you, and you will be an inheritance to them, and will not anymore increase their bereavement. Wow, what a timely scripture that we are reading in today, and what is happening. Ezekiel 36, 23, 28. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the nations, which you profaned among them. And the nations shall know that I am Yahweh, declares Adonai Yahweh, when I have sanctified in you in their eyes. For I will take you from the nations and gather you out of all the lands, bring into your land. We came from nations, came from Philippines, some of us from Africa, and it's literally we came from nations. Now we are celebrating the first day of Sukkot. And I will also give you a new heart, and I will put a new spirit within you, and I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give to you a heart of flesh, and I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgments and do them. And you shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, and you shall be a people to me, and I will be Elohim to you. Also in Jeremiah 16:14-16, so behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I shall no more be said, as Yahweh lives, who brought up the sons of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but rather, as Yahweh lives, who brought up the sons of Israel from the land of north, from all the lands, there where he had banished them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave to their fathers. Behold, I will send for many fishermen, says Yahweh, and they shall fish them. And after this I will send for many hunters, and they will hunt them for every mountain and from every hill, and out of the clefts of the rocks. I remember the clefts of the rocks of Selah. We will be going there next day. Isaiah 11, 9 and 13. They shall not do evil, nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yahweh, as the waters cover the sea. And it shall be in that day, the root of Yessi stands as a banner of his people. Nations shall seek to him, and his resting place shall be glorious. And it shall be in that day, Yahweh shall again set his hand the second time to recover the remnant of his people that remains from Assyria, from Egypt, from Patros, from Ethiopia, from Elam, from Shinar, from Hamath, and from the coast of the sea. And he shall lift up a banner for the nation, and shall gather the outcasts of Israel, and gather those dispersed from Judah, from the four wings of the earth. And the envy of Ephraim shall turn off, and Judah's foes shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not trouble Ephraim. And also Ezekiel 37:19. Say to them, so says Adonai Yahweh, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his companions, and I will set them with him, with the stick of Judah, and I will make them one stick, and they shall be echad in my hand. And the sticks shall be in your hand, the ones on which you write before their eyes. And say to them, so says Adonai Yahweh, behold, I will take the sons of Israel from among the nations, there where they have gone, and I will gather them from all around, and I will bring them into their own land. Ezekiel 37:22, and I will make them echad nation in the land, echad nation in the land of the mountains of Israel, and the king shall be for a king for all of them, and they shall not be two nations anymore, and they will not be split into two kingdoms anymore. Again, here we are in the wilderness, and we are so close to the promised land. So there's no way you can go to the promised land without going to wilderness. Amos 9:14-15. And I will bring them back the captivity of my people Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and live in them. And they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine of them. They shall also make gardens, eat the fruit of them, and I will plant them on their land. And they shall never again be pulled up out of their land, which I have given to them, says Yahweh, your Elohim. So the Feast of Sukkot, or Tabernacles, is a yearly memorial of the reminder of the soon coming of Yahweh to this earth. So, if only, again, the whole world knows about this command of Yahweh and what pictures is that. But many Shabbat keeping brethren and tend to neglect is the fact that the Feast of Sukkot is not only about the earthly rule of Yeshua Messiah, but also the restoration of all 12 tribes of the nation of Israel back to their land for this millennial reign. Before, when I was not in the truth, I thought that Israel is somewhere in the Philippines, because that's the leader told me. Israel is somewhere in Davao. So when I realized that real Israel is there, and the identity that we have, that we have the blood of Yeshua, that is announced when we accepted Him, and we being part of Ephraim's tribe, the fullness of the nation, and the land. That's what Yahweh promises us, and to our fathers Abraham, Jacob, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That is why it is centered around the greater fall harvest, because now Yahweh is working with His first fruits, a relatively small group of people. Here we are, a small group of people, where then it will be with the whole nation of Israel. And we are so blessed to be part of this small group. Ezekiel 37, 11 to 14. Then he said to me, Son of man, these bones are all the house of Israel. Behold, they say, our bones are dried, and our hope is refreshed. We are cut off for ourselves. So prophesy and say to them, so says Adonai Yahweh, behold, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves, O my people. And I will bring you to the land of Israel. And you shall know that I am Yahweh when I have opened your graves, have brought you out of your graves, O my people. I shall put my spirit within you, and you shall live. And I will put you on your own land. And you shall know that I, Yahweh, have spoken and have done it, says Yahweh. So one of the deception of Satan that people believes, especially Christianity around us, they are going to heaven, but we are not going to heaven. Yahweh doesn't promise us heaven. It is the land of Israel. It is the kingdom of Yahweh. Then we will be rulers within the side. The training of our times today is very important for His people, because as first fruits, we will be ruling with Yeshua under His proper judicial order. So this is the work of Yahweh today. He has never stopped working with the seed of Abraham through Isaac and Jacob, and His called out disciples should be helping in the worldwide work of restoring the 12 sons of Israel back into the covenant relationship with Yahweh. This is the primary purpose of Sukkot, to look forward to Yahweh's soon coming wonderful kingdom. And I can just imagine the kingdom when you were there. You know, everything that is happening today in the world, but in Yahweh's kingdom, that is we are longing for that to come soon. So, are Yahweh's people to live in booths, temporary dwelling during the feast? So here we are in the temporary dwelling. After how many days we will move to another place? So Leviticus 23, 42, 43. You shall live in Sukkos for 7 days, and all who are native in Israel shall sit down in Sukkos, so that your generation shall know that I caused the sons of Israel to live in Sukkos when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh, your Elohim. So a sukkah, or booth, is a temporary dwelling. Yahweh commanded the ancient Israelites to live in a temporary shelters made of 3 branches. While observing the Feast of Tabernacles, for Yahweh's people who attend the Feast of Tabernacles today, tent, camper, motel, or hotel room would certainly qualify as temporary dwelling. Here we are. So Yahweh intends the Feast of Sukkot to separate and free His people from the world living in temporary dwellings for an entire week away from their everyday surroundings, jobs, and most negative influences. Yahweh's people enjoy a tiny fourth state of the universal freedom, joy, and peace, and will exist in the millennium when Satan is gone and the Spirit of Yahweh is leading all of humanity. And every year during this Feast of Week, a week of Sukkot, Yahweh wants His elect to come out of Satan's system and keep their focus on His work of restoration, of restoring Israel and His soon coming kingdom. So just as the Feast of Tabernacles is a physically feast filled with rejoicing, it is also a spiritual feast of education and preparation. So members of Yahweh's true congregations receive instruction from Yahweh's servants through inspiring sermons to help them further prepare to rule and teach with Messiah during the millennium. So we are commanded to rejoice and feast, and what the enemy does is attack us with the every anxiety in the world. He wants us to be focused of the command of Yahweh to rejoice. So he will make things that you will forget to rejoice, but you should not forget rejoicing, especially at the feast. Forget about everything that is Satan is trying to throw to us, whatever it is. And I remember Nehemiah when his time and the people is weeping, and he's saying to the people, "Don't cry today. It's so good. This is the day. This is the week of celebration of gladness." So in Micah 4:1, but it shall be in the end of days, the mountain of the house of Yahweh shall be established on the top of the mountains, and it shall be lifted up from the hills, and people shall flow on it. And many nations shall come and say, "Come, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, and to the house of Elohim of Jacob. And He will teach us from His ways, and we will walk in His paths. For the Torah shall go forth out of Zion, the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem." Praise Yahweh. We belong to the congregation of Yahweh, Jerusalem. So, question is, will the whole world finally come to understand Yahweh's way to peace, happiness, abundant living, and salvation? It says in Isaiah 11, "They shall not do evil, nor destroy in all my holy mountains, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yahweh as the waters cover the sea." Also in Jeremiah 31:34, "And they shall no longer each man teach his neighbor, and each man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them, even to the greatest of them, declares Adonai Yahweh. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sins no more." What a loving Elohim we have. And once Satan has been bound, and the government of Yahweh set up, a 1,000-year golden age of world peace and prosperity will begin. So Messiah's re-education program for the entire world will bring about a new civilization based on Yahweh's way of life. So don't be discouraged if some people that you are sharing is not even hearing what you are saying, because time will come that Yahweh will do it on His own, and we will be part of it, the restoration of everything. So His law of love resulting in the great physical and spiritual blessings. But what will happen to those nations that first refuse to keep the Feast of Tabernacles? Those refuse to be re-educated to Yahweh's ways, in Zechariah 14:16 and 17. "And it shall be, everyone who is left from all the nations which came up against Jerusalem shall go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Sukkot. And it shall be, whoever will not go up from the families of the earth to Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, there shall even be no rain in them." So Messiah will re-educate the people of the world through His annual festivals. The world will come to know that Yahweh's master of love pictures the way to physical blessing and spiritual salvation. Those who stubbornly refuse to keep the Feast of Tabernacles will suffer from drought and plagues until to submit to Yahweh. But we need to rejoice now. We need to feel the blessing of being here today, that Yahweh will allow us to be here. And I pray that we will have coming days of joyous celebration of this Sukkot. Kag Sameach, and God bless.